Okay, let's see how this works. This is Raven, and today I am going to show you how to make what I am calling a half and half cuff. It is half peyote stitch, and as you can see I used fishing line for that, so there's not really any give, and then half singles, which obviously I used elastic for. Now I'm going to show you how to make a different one than this one because I have run out of these letters, unfortunately. But we're going to make a Happy Samhain one. I also didn't have any E's, so I couldn't do Happy Halloween. But anyway, to make this, you're going to need some string. I recommend for the peyote stitch part, you're going to want like fishing line. But you can use elastic if you want, just be aware that it will lose its shape after a while. And for the singles part, you're going to want some elastic. I'm just using plain cloth covered elastic in about 0.75 millimeters. But the first part we're going to do is we're going to make the peyote stitch part. So we're going to do, I'll just have it like that, this part first. You're going to need kind of a lot of beads and kind of well, you won't need as much string as I've got, but you're going to need a significant amount of string. And I am just going to do a simple pattern. You can do any pattern you want for this part, any pattern you want for the singles, really, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you how this is structured mainly. So what you do is you take two of your beads, whatever color you're going to use, put them on your string, then put your strings together, the two sides together, and you are going to put one bead. Oh, come back. Now you're going to take your strings apart and put one bead on each string. Then you're going to put your strings together, put one bead, take your strings apart, put a bead on either side. So you're getting something like this. Put your strings together, put one bead on both strings, take your strings apart, put a bead on either side, put your strings together, put a bead on both, oops, take your strings apart, put them together, take them apart. It's just a very simple pattern. And you'll keep going until you get 15 rows. So I'm nearing the end here. Put your strings together, take them apart. Just a very simple pattern. Strings together, and last one, strings apart. Okay, so you've got this. Just checking to make sure I've got enough rows here. Yep. And then what you do when you're done with that is you just tie it a couple times so that it stays nice and sturdy while you're adding the rest of your beads. Oops, I hit my camera there. Well, my phone. Alright, so you've got this. And what you want to do is take one of your strings, doesn't matter which one, put it through the top bead there. Now you're going to add beads across this row. So whatever pattern you're using. As you can see, I've done an orange and yellow pattern. but you can do whatever pattern you want. These just happen to be beads that I need to use up, so I am using these beads because I actually don't take apart the things that I do for tutorials when I'm done. I keep them, so I want to make sure that I'm not using beads that I need to use for other things. So just go across with your beads in whatever pattern you want. It doesn't matter, you can do whatever you want. You can do one solid color, you can do multiple colors, you can do stripes, you can do, you can do little arrowy things, you know, the little zigzaggy pattern, doesn't matter. Okay, now when you're at the end of your row, what you do is you put a bead on, okay, go back through the bead that you just put on, like that. Oops, don't go through that one. And just pull it tight. See how we've got that there? And then just keep going across your row. Just keep going. Oops. And you will notice once you get to the end that there's nowhere to put your last bead. We're not quite there yet, but just warning you, there's going to be a spot where you need to put a bead and then you can't. So I'm going to show you how to fix that so that you can add that last bead. Okay, so we're coming up, we're coming up on that last one. Go in. Okay, so see how there's this part right here where, focus, where we need to add a bead. What we're gonna do is, I could technically add a bead right now because of the way that this went, but if it doesn't work out this way, I'm gonna show you how to do this. Okay, so you're gonna want your string to come out this bead. Mine already is, but I'm gonna show you how to do it anyway. So you're going to take your string, put it through that bottom bead, then take your string and put it through the top bead going the other way. And then there you go. And what you do is you just add your bead like normal, except you're going to put it on one string, okay? Then you're going to take your other string and put it through the other way. And then just pull it tight. If it gets a little wobbly, that's okay. And then just keep going the other way. If your bead, your end bead is wobbly, that's fine. Like I said, just ignore it, it'll fix itself. So just keep going. Here, I'm gonna switch it over so I can. Oh, this is getting a little bit messy here. Just keep going down your row with whatever beads you're using. I think it would look kind of cool if you used a solid color, but obviously you're kind of a long ways in to be deciding what colors you're using. But anyway, just keep going. And then when you add on your last bead for that row, you just add another bead onto your string, onto your string, and go back through the bead that you just put on. So now we've got 4 outside rows, which is good. That's what we want. So just keep going across. This will be our last row. See how quick and easy this is? Well, quick. We're coming up on 11 minutes now, but just do that all the way across. I promise we're coming up on the end of this part, and the next part's super easy, so we should be done in no time. Just keep going across. And once again, we'll come up on this last bead and find that we have the same problem we had a little bit ago, except this time your string is coming out the right bead, so we don't have to do any fancy weird stringy maneuvers. So just put your bead on one string, then take the other string and go through it the other way, pull it tight, and then this is the part where we tie it off. So just tie it with as many knots as you feel are necessary to keep it from falling apart. I do a lot of knots because I am paranoid, but that is okay. So just do that. And when you're satisfied that you've got enough knots, just snip off the ends, and you've got half of your little cuff. Now we are going to do the singles part. So what you want to do, okay, we had a bit of an interruption, so I am going to redo this. What you want to do is you want to take your string, put it through your bead like that, then you want to take the other side of your string, put it through like that, and just make sure that the end of the one string is long enough to go, you know, so that you have it big enough to go around someone's wrist when you tie it to this side. Then what you want to do is you want to string on your beads. String on your beads. I'll just set this here. And I am doing an orange and black pattern. Now you can go with 15 beads, if that's how big around you want, you know, if you want your cuff to be 30 beads around, you can go with 15 beads on here. I am actually going to go with 17 because I like my cuffs to be a little bit bigger. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. As you can see, I can actually pull this a little bit. Oops, no, come back. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 17. Okay. So we're going to leave that for a second, and we're going to take our other string and put on our beads. Now I'm doing the Happy Samhain little cuff, so I am going to put on 5 beads, then do the happy part, and just to keep it even, I've put on 2 little hard beads. I know they got messy, but whatever. We'll just deal with it. Then 5 more beads. Okay. And this is the part where it gets a little bit tricky, but we can do this. I mean, we've already done this part, so we can do this part. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to put your one side through here like this, then put your other side through there like that. Pull it as tight as you feel like you need to, and then tie it a couple times. Here, let me make sure this is still stretchy. So I'm going to tie it 3 times because I'm paranoid. Oops, oh no, there's a knot in my string. Just give me a second to fix this. Alright, then what you want to do is you want to put your string through that 3rd bead. Now I'm going to do the Samhain part. So 5 beads. And now I have to go backwards with it because I'm putting the string on backwards. I don't know. So then put on the last 5 beads. And now we stick our string through this way, through that 3rd bead. And then we put our string immediately through that last bead. Okay? Now we do our last row. 3, 5, 6. If you hear a sound in the background, it's our air conditioner. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, now we go back to that last bead, oops, to that last bead there, go through, pull it as tight as we feel we need to. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go through the 3rd bead, then through the 2nd bead, and tie it to that 1st string. You could have them meet up in the middle instead of having all of your knots be right here. Doesn't really matter. This is just where I chose to have them meet up. So you just tie it as many times as you feel are necessary to keep it from falling apart. And then snip off your ends. And now you've got, oops, your little half and half cuff. Thank you for watching. I hope this was